Good afternoon, folks. Hope you're doing well today. I'd like to read you some select bits of an article I was reading the other day, written by Stephanie Pappos. It's called Low IQ and Conservative Beliefs Linked to Prejudice. If you want to view the whole article, visit www.livescience.com. I recommend that you do so. Okay. Quote, "There's no gentle way to put it. People who give in to racism and prejudice may simply be dumb, according to a new study that is bound to stir public controversy. The research finds that children with low intelligence are more likely to hold prejudiced attitudes as adults. These findings point to a vicious cycle, according to lead researcher Gordon Hodson, a psychologist at Brock University in Ontario. Low intelligence adults tend to gravitate toward socially conservative ideologies, the study found. Those ideologies, in turn, stress hierarchy and resistance to change, attitudes that can contribute to prejudice, Hodson wrote in an email to Live Science. Prejudice is extremely complex and multifaceted, making it critical that any factors contributing to bias are uncovered and understood, he said. Okay, I'll read from the section called Brains and Bias now. Quote, "Earlier studies have found links between low levels of education and higher levels of prejudice," Hodson said. So studying intelligence seemed a logical next step. The researchers turned to two studies of citizens in the United Kingdom, one that has followed babies since their births in March 1958, and another that did the same for babies born in April 1970. The children in the studies had their intelligence assessed at age 10 or 11, as adults aged 30 or 33. Their levels of social conservatism and racism were measured. In the first study, verbal and non-verbal intelligence was measured using tests that asked people to find similarities and differences between words, shapes, and symbols. The second study measured cognitive abilities in 4 ways, including number recall, shape drawing tasks, defining words, and identifying patterns and similarities among words. Average IQ is set at 100. Social conservatives were defined as people who agreed with a laundry list of statements, such as, "Family life suffers if mum is working full-time," and "Schools should teach children to obey authority." Attitudes toward other races were captured by measuring agreement with statements such as, "I wouldn't mind working with people from other races." These questions measured overt prejudiced attitudes, but most people, no matter how egalitarian, do hold unconscious racial biases. Hodgson's work can't speak to this underground racism. As suspected, low intelligence in childhood corresponds with racism in adulthood. But the factor that explained the relationship between these two variables was political. When researchers included social conservatism in the analysis, those ideologies accounted for much of the link between brains and bias. People with lower cognitive abilities also had less contact with people of other races. This finding is consistent with recent research demonstrating that intergroup contact is mentally challenging and cognitively draining, and consistent with findings that contact reduces prejudice, said Hodgson, who, along with his colleagues, published these results online on the 5th of January in the journal Psychological Science. End quote. Please take the time to read the whole article if you're going to go read it, folks. The researchers are not implying that all conservatives are dumb. There are, of course, plenty of very intelligent people who hold socially conservative views, of course. This is a good little article, though. Some interesting points are made here. Just as a final note here, I'd ask that everyone take into consideration, scientifically speaking, there are no other races. It's just us, Homo sapiens sapiens. One race, one people. Yeah, different ethnicities, different cultures, yes, but there are no biologically separate races. We're one species, in spite of what some might say. And that's all there is to it. Anyway, I will see you next time, boys and girls. Take care of yourselves.